Hello there, people of the internet. How is everybody doing today? I'm doing alright, thanks for asking. So, I'm out here on the gun range today. I have my German World War II 1944 production Kar 98 right here. Fantastic rifle, chambered 8mm Mauser. You guys have seen this on the channel plenty of times. But I have made videos in the past talking about surplus ammunition that you can get off of the market, and there's a lot of stuff on the market right now that you're going to find, like Turkish stuff and Yugo stuff, Czech stuff, Greek stuff. We're talking specifically 8mm Mauser ammunition here. But there's a lot of surplus ammunition on the market right now, and whenever I make videos about the surplus ammo, I get a ton of comments from people talking about how the surplus ammo will absolutely destroy your rifle because it is corrosive ammunition. And yes, it will absolutely destroy your rifle since it is, in fact, corrosive ammunition. Now, that is if you don't clean your rifle. Whenever you fire surplus ammunition through a bolt-action rifle like this, like if you're rocking an old-school Milsurp bolt-action rifle and you run some surplus ammo through it, and that surplus ammunition you run is corrosive, there is salt inside of the primers, which is the ignition system for that particular ammunition. There is salt inside of that primer that detonates the cartridge, and so salt, whenever it gets on metal, causes it to rust. It is the same thing that makes black powder corrosive. Salt. So there is salt inside of the ignition system. Inside of the projectile, nowadays we have non-corrosive primers. We have just figured out ways to be able to get around not using salt inside of the ignition sources for ammunition. But non-corrosive primers, that's a thing nowadays, but you get yourself old ammo, you're going to have more than likely corrosive primers. But how you clean your rifle, I've made videos on the YouTube channel on how to clean the rifle after firing surplus ammunition. But essentially, you just kind of get the salt off of the metal so the salt doesn't cause the metal to rust. You can sit out here and shoot this surplus corrosive ammunition all day long, and it's not like in the process of shooting the ammunition you're going to destroy your rifle. The destruction of the rifle happens whenever you let the salt set inside of the rifle and rust away on the metal. That is where the destruction comes from these rifles. Now, for the most part, it's just going to be the primers that are corrosive into your surplus ammunition. Like, there are some powders out there and some cordites out there that are corrosive whenever you fire them through the rifle, so it doesn't matter if you use non-corrosive primers, you would still have the issue with corrosion. However, that being said, most of the time it is going to be just the primer system that is corrosive and not the actual powder itself. So if you are a reloader like I am, a lot of times I'll use well-known to still be good surplus military powder inside of new cartridges with non-corrosive primers, and I won't have any issue with dealing with any corrosion inside of the rifles. Now, that being said, I have me with my Kar 98. This right here is some very normal surplus that's on the market right now. I mean, it's just flooding into the country right now. This is Turkish 8mm Mauser. I believe this is nickel-plated 155 grain full metal jackets. And last time I pulled one of these apart, I'm not sure what kind of military flake powder it is that they're using. Apparently, it's got some degradation, so these do fire a little bit spicier than they're supposed to. I'm actually going to make a full video talking about this Turkish 8mm stuff and what to expect from it. But 155 grain nickel-plated full metal jackets over top of, I believe it's around 48 grains of this flake powder, and this stuff travels at around 3,000 feet per second. So this is a hot cartridge going downrange, not a lightweight cartridge and not going slow. These Turkish Mauser clips suck though. But this stuff is corrosive, so I'm going to fire 5 rounds out of my Kar 98 here. I'm just going to go ahead and send these rounds at the steel silhouette down there. Ow, these definitely recoil much more than other 8mm Mauser out there. Okay, alright, I was going to run more rounds of this, but like more stripper clips of this, just running them downrange, but I think I'm going to go ahead and just stick with the 5 and show you guys what I'm talking about. Man, I can't imagine the steel down there is having a good time. Ah, I missed. This stuff does hit a little high out of a Kar 98. We're only at about 40 yards. The zero on this thing is at 100 yards, so we're already hitting high with standard ammunition, but since this stuff is traveling at a greater velocity, it's going to hit slightly higher. I've noticed that this stuff out of a Kar 98 at 100 yards hits about a foot high, so at this distance I'm not sure. Well, I tried compensating and aiming a little bit lower, but I guess I aimed a little bit too low and hit the concrete. Okay, let me show you guys what we got going on here. So I just fired 5 rounds of corrosive ammunition through the rifle. Go ahead and break out my little flashlight here, and hopefully I'll be able to show you guys this. Just as a safety precaution, I'm going to remove the bolt because I'm going to be dealing directly with the muzzle of this rifle. Remove the bolt, confirm that there is no bolt and the rifle is completely unloaded. I have no idea how well this is going to show up on camera, so I'm just going to move this flashlight around a bunch, but if you notice down the barrel, the muzzle of this barrel, there is no rust or corrosion inside of this rifle. It simply takes time for that rust to build up from the salt that is in there. Like 2 or 3 days, you'll start to see rust in there, so you'll want to clean your rifle before that happens. However, immediately upon firing, you're not going to have issues with the corrosive ammunition causing damage to your firearm, unless of course you're rocking like some old school corroded ammunition where the projectiles themselves may have some corrosion on them. If that is the case, then the actual corrosion of the projectile might cause some wear on the barrel. However, corrosion of the ammunition is different than the ammunition being corrosive to the gun. Now, in the event that you fire a bunch of this stuff and you don't know to clean your rifle, like, for example, whenever I'm done shooting today, I'm probably going to shoot a bunch of this stuff out of this rifle. Whenever I'm done shooting today, I would go ahead and clean my rifle. I've already made videos on how to clean corrosive ammunition out of your firearm. It's actually incredibly simple. I recommend going to check out those videos. But cleaning your rifle will prevent that rust buildup from accumulating over the next couple of days. Normally, whenever I shoot corrosive ammunition through these rifles, I'll like shoot a lot of it. Like I have some Yugo surplus that I'm probably going to run through this just because it doesn't recoil nearly as hard. Oh, that's a cool video idea. I'm going to do that one next. But in the event that you don't know to clean your rifle and you end up getting just a bunch of corrosion inside of your barrel and whatnot, and you get out the rust, get out the everything but the bore and whatnot, the actual end of the muzzle here has just corroded from that salt to the point to where it cannot be salvaged, and you fire your rifle and you notice a diminishing accuracy because your bullets are now keyholing. Well, if that happens, then rather than throw away your barrel, what you can do is you can actually counterbore that rifle. If you have a milling machine or something like that, you can go ahead and do it yourself. Otherwise, just send it off to a professional who knows how to counterbore rifles. I'm probably going to make a video on how to actually counterbore a rifle for anyone out there who is interested in that. I would not be able to put that up on YouTube, so that would have to be something that would be like linked to Utreon or something like that. But how to counterbore a rifle, essentially you just kind of take, it looks like a drill bit, but not really. And you attach it to a milling machine and you take all the accessories and whatnot off of the rifle to where you just have the barrel, because you want the barrel as it spins to spin nice and true. You don't want any sort of wobble in that barrel. But you take this counterbore, which is greater than the bore diameter of the original barrel, and you drill out the end of the barrel down until you get to non-corroded rifling. Typically, when corrosive ammo eats away at a barrel, it will eat away at the end of the barrel, because that is where the water is in the air, and the water is ultimately attracted to the salt, and that is what causes the rust. So way more often you're going to see the end of the barrel get destroyed by corrosive ammo, and the middle of the barrel will last much, much longer under the conditions of that corrosive ammo. Now, if you don't have the means to counterbore it, what you can do is you can just kind of snip the end of that barrel off and maybe make yourself a sporterized rifle or something like that. I would not recommend doing that with an original military surplus rifle that has good value, but if you have an already sporterized rifle and somebody shot a bunch of corrosive ammo through it and didn't clean it and the end of that rifle is bad, then just snip off a couple of inches of that. Make sure that you keep it within the legal lengths, and you would still be able to engage the good rifling that is still inside of that barrel. Now, if the barrel length is already as, small as it can legally get, then you have no choice but to counterbore it. So I would recommend, either if you do not have the means to do so, or you do so yourself, you send it off to someone who does have the means to do so. Alright, well, thanks for watching, folks. I do appreciate your time. I had fun. I really did have fun with this, and I have some really sweet ideas for some videos that I'm probably going to make right now, honestly. So I'm going to go work on that. I wanted to go ahead and just touch on how corrosive ammo doesn't immediately destroy a rifle, and what to do if your rifle is destroyed by corrosive ammo and you end up getting no accuracy out of it. I think I covered my points pretty well. If you have any questions, by all means, comments down below, and just hell, look through the comments. You're probably going to find people that are way better experts at this stuff than myself, because I am definitely no professional whenever it comes to this kind of stuff. I'm just a dude living in Florida with a YouTube channel that has a bunch of old guns, and sometimes these old guns need a little bit of treatment to get them firing accurately again. So thanks for watching, folks. Appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share. Description below has a link to all sorts of stuff. Go and go check that out. You guys go off, have yourself a wonderful day, and I am gonna go grab another rifle and some more ammo and make another video.
Been a little while since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. The poor man's Garen. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.